What's up, YouTube? Today's video is a video of the games I picked up during the month of February 2016. And I will go ahead and say that just like last month, this was a pretty slow month for pickups. Don't really know what's going on. It just seems like my area is kind of drying up a little bit. I did get a few other things this month that I actually got as duplicates just to use as trade bait. So hoping that in the next month, some of the stuff that I got as extras, I can turn into really cool stuff to show you in the next month. There's still some pretty neat things I got this month. What I will say to start off this video is we are going to start with Sony games for PlayStation and some of the other Sony systems, mainly because that's the bulk of my pickups this month. I've really been getting into PS1 collecting. I know that's a dangerous thing to do because it's such a huge library, but there's just a lot of really interesting and unique rare games for that system. So I kind of been bulking up my PS1 collection. I already made a video of my collection if you want to watch it that I did a few months ago, but it's already pretty out of date because I've just bought so much more stuff since then. So let's go ahead and start off with the PS1 stuff I got this month, and then I'll show you some other stuff for Sony systems as well as the other console makers that I got games for. So first thing I got for PS1 is a game that doesn't really go for a lot of money, but it's one that I just never see, at least locally. So that is Black Bass with Blue Marlin. If you remember, these games were both on the NES, and these are like enhanced versions for the PS1, or at least just using the same brand. I'm not a fishing game fan, but the reason I wanted this is because it's a Hot B game, and you can call me a label collector, I don't care, but I just think Hot B stuff is really quirky, and I always like to add their stuff to my collection. One thing I thought was really interesting when I was looking over the packaging for this is they were sure to say that this game is made in the USA, which I thought was really funny. So maybe that appeals to people who buy fishing games. I don't know. I'm not your typical fishing game audience. So yeah, Black Bass with Blue Marlin. Next thing I got was a PS1 game I've been wanting for a really, really long time. Every time I find this game, there's something wrong with it. I don't know what the deal is. Like, I found multiple copies at the back of the manual has been ripped off, or the disc just is destroyed, or maybe it's missing the back art. I don't know. But this was a genuinely nice copy, and I couldn't pass it up, and that is Breath of Fire 4. So very happy to have this. I already have Breath of Fire 3, and happy to have the other piece of this for the PS1. Artwork on this I think is really cool, by the way. The Breath of Fire 3 is a really ugly cover, just with some fire and a sword or whatever, but they really definitely perked it up for this one, so pretty cool. Next thing is another PS1 game I've been looking for a while. I don't necessarily see this one very often either, and that is Gekido. This is a 4-player fighting game for the PS1. Yeah, kind of unusual. Haven't had a chance to try this one yet, but definitely looking forward to it. I think this one didn't really sell very well because I don't know, I just never see it, so hopefully it's pretty good. Next is another one that is probably Timmy Tukes' favorite game ever, and that is Swagman. Yeah, just think how much better this game would sell today if they came out with a game in 2016 called Swagman. However, this game did not sell well, and I always just looked past it because the cover is so ugly, but then I looked at like the character art and the screenshots on the back, and it actually looks really good. Kind of has like a isometric 2D, 3D type appearance to it, so I don't know how well you can see that, but to me this actually looks like a pretty interesting game, so looking forward to checking it out. Assuming it's European developed because it's an Eidos game, but don't know that for sure. Next is a sports game, and I don't obviously seek out sports games, but this is one that I just looked at and I said, I don't think I ever really see that one, so I'll just go ahead and grab it. But that is Bottom of the Ninth 97. Some of the Konami sports games for disc-based systems are actually really rare. Like, if you think about some of their soccer games they put out, we're talking very low print runs of those for some reason, so I just decided, might as well take a chance on this. It couldn't get any cheaper, so go ahead and grab it now. Next one I got is a game that I remember people being incredibly disappointed by when it came out, but I was always curious about it, and that is Resident Evil Survivor. So it's kind of the first-person Resident Evil game for the PS1. I think most people agreed that this game would have worked so much better as a light gun game. It just seems so obvious, but for some reason it does not support the light gun. So, I don't know. Yeah, looking forward to trying it out just with fresh eyes, because I don't have all that hype and expectation that people had back when this originally came out. Then I got several games that are like first-party Sony games, and all of these were ones that either I had at one point and got rid of, or just ones that I just kind of have a feeling like if PS1 is really about to burst in price, which it seems like it is, these are good ones to have just for, you know, first-party sake. So first one of these is one I never see clean copies of this anymore. I mean, I know they sold billions of these, but they all seem to have dried up, and that is the original Cool Borders. I see the other ones very commonly, or at least greatest hits versions of them, but for some reason I just never see the original Cool Borders, so I decided to grab it. Next one is another one that's, one that probably just about everybody that had a PlayStation had at one point, but for some reason they seem to be drying up these days. And that is the original Spyro the Dragon, the Black Label version of it. So nice to have a clean original copy of that that's not all destroyed. I think kids just really did a number on a lot of those early platformer games. Another one that was much like that, I actually had this game when it first came out. For some reason I got rid of it years ago, is Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped. This one's kind of neat because it has the reflective cover. I don't know if you can see that intact. It's like an insert sheet that goes in there, and a lot of them are missing that if they even had it in the first place. So yeah, nice to have an intact original copy of that as well. And then the last first-party Sony game that I was interested in getting, just to kind of have a few more of those, is Ape Escape. And this is one that I remember when it came out, it had a decent amount of hype around it, but it really didn't seem to sell that well. So I don't know what the deal was with that. This one was kind of unique because you had to use the DualShock controller, and it was near the, about when the DualShock came out, so a lot of people may have wanted to get this game and didn't have a DualShock if they had an original controller and were unable to play it until they got one. So kind of interesting. They made several other Ape Escape games. I haven't really played any of them either, so looking forward to checking it out. The last thing I got for PS1 is probably the best one I got this month, and this is one that I had no idea the price had spiked so much on it until I went to buy it. But that is X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and this is the notoriously gimped PS1 port of this game. I've owned the Japanese import of this game since it came out. It was one of my first import games I ever bought, and I remember playing this when it came out for PlayStation and just thinking, wow, like they really butchered that game. But, however, the reason I wanted this primarily is because it's part of the Capcom Fighter's Edge series games, and I'm trying to get a full set of those. So this is one of the more expensive ones that I still needed, so it was nice to have it. So that's everything I got for the original PlayStation this month. By comparison, I only got one game for the PS2, and this one I was kind of interested in just because if you've watched my other video recently, you know I like games starring ninjas. And this one is Ninja Assault. This is actually a light gun game with ninjas, and it was an arcade classic by Namco that got ported to the PS2, so it does support the GunCon 2. Really cool. I need to get my CRT TV pulled back out so I can give this a shot, but definitely looking forward to it because ninjas are awesome, and how much better is ninjas with guns, so we'll see. The next game I got for a Sony system is probably the first game I ever bought for the Vita. And I do have a PS TV. I don't have a Vita console yet, but this works perfectly on the PS TV. This is an import game, and I was super excited to get this. It took a really long time to get here from China, I believe it was shipped, and that is Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors. This is the brand new Taito shooting game in the Darius series that was an arcade game, and the only physical version of it came out for the Vita. There is a download, I believe, for the PS3 and PS4, maybe just the PS4. The Vita version is great. I would not want to play this on a Vita handheld, though, because the arcade is presented in its original perspective, so the screen is super smushed on it. If you were playing it on a portable, I could imagine that would be really tough, but on a large screen TV, it actually looks great. They also included a very interesting original mode with a ton of like shooting mini games type stuff going on, all with a different objective, like kill a boss in a certain amount of time and things like that. They really bring the replay value to this game. I wish they would port the PS4 version. I tell you what, right now, if they did that, I would buy a PS4 for it in a physical release. Reason being, the PS4 version supports the 4-player mode that the arcade version had. This version does not. But otherwise, a very clean and fun port of this game. I don't understand why this is the only shooter on the Vita when the PSP had like a billion shooters. It's really a strange concept to me, but hopefully with the release of this, and I think it sold reasonably well, that will bring more shooters to the Vita. So looking forward to that if that's the case. Then I got a couple accessories for Sony systems this month, and the first one of these, I already had one, but I actually got an upgrade to a nice boxed copy, and that is the memory card adapter. This is a pretty rare accessory that came out early in the PS3 lifespan that lets you use PS1 and PS2 saves on your PS3. Really useful if you like playing PS1 games on the PS3 like I do lately, and very cool. So now I've got a couple of these. I'm probably going to just get rid of my dupe, but nice to have one in the original box. The other accessory I got for a PlayStation system this month was the weirdest thing I found all month. I had no idea this existed whatsoever. There is a controller for the original PlayStation that was designed to work with Ridge Racer Type 4, and it is called the Jog-Con. It has a force feedback wheel in the center of the controller, and I don't own a Jog-Con. I've always wanted one. I've actually been holding out for the Ridge Racer box set that comes with it, but it turns out there are third-party Jog-Cons. This blew my mind. The store I was in Memphis this month was blowing them out for $1 a piece, so I couldn't turn these down, but this is the Doc's third-party Jog-Con. So weird. I mean, I had no idea this existed. Haven't had a chance to try it yet. I'm a little afraid to because some of these third-party PS1 controllers can blow the sockets on the system. But very neat that this does exist, and I'm definitely going to display this box because I don't think they made a lot of these. The one thing that's cool about the third-party version is it actually has a rumble support in the controller as well. For some reason, Namco didn't include that in their Jog-Con. It just has the force feedback wheel, but no rumble in the controller. So this is actually a slight benefit that the original one didn't have. So, yeah, looking forward to playing with my very weird third-party Jog-Con. Alright, so that is it for Sony systems and stuff this month. Like I said, this video is mostly Sony stuff for a change. I got one game for the Xbox 360 this month. This is one that just seems to be very difficult to find. I don't ever see it, at least. And that is Kingo Legend of the Nine. Have not played it yet, but definitely looking forward to checking it out. I like stuff made by Genki, and this is a Genki game, so we'll see how it is. I got a few games for Nintendo systems this month, nothing too crazy. I actually bought something for the NES I didn't have, which is really surprising because I have a full set of NES games. However, I don't have all the variants, and this was a pretty, common variant that I just never decided to pick up, and that is the gray version of the original Zelda. This was the 1993, I believe, re-release of the game. There's also a gray version of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. I do have that one. But, yeah, just nice to have this out of the way. It's one of the key variants of the system I just didn't own in my collection, so nice to have that. Very clean copy of it, too. Then I got a couple games for the Super Nintendo, nothing too crazy here. Spider-Man and Venom Separation Anxiety, and the other one is Mohawk and Headphone Jack. I have no idea. It's a late release game. Then I got one game for the GameCube this month, and again, it's kind of a label collecting thing. I don't really care about these characters, but that is Metabots Infinity. And the reason I wanted this is because it's a Natsume game. I like having Natsume stuff, so whatever. Then I got one game for the Wii, and again, this is one that I just don't see a whole lot. Case is kind of beat up on this one. I might actually go for an upgrade later, but that is Wing Island. This was one of the last Hudson Soft developed games, I believe, before they got shut down. So definitely looking forward to playing that. I always like Hudson Soft stuff. I got a few games for my original Game Boy collection this month. Again, nothing too crazy. First one of these is Jeep Jamboree. Then I got Pinball Dreams. I actually did play this one a little bit. It's pretty good. I got a copy of The Punisher. And then I got Hunchback of Notre Dame. And now after showing these, I just realized I completely forgot to bring something down to show you in this video. I did get a Game Boy Advance SP, but it's the AGS 101 edition. It's the one with the brighter screen. And the reason I probably forgot to bring it down is I've been playing it a lot this month because it really makes the games look great with that brighter screen, the backlit screen. I've been playing on an original Game Boy Advance SP since they came out, and I can tell you, it's mind-blowing how much better this one is. So, very cool. If you don't have one of those, I would highly recommend grabbing one, and I don't know. I don't feel like going to get it now, so maybe I'll show it in my next video, but definitely has made Game Boy game playing very fun this month. I got one game for the Nintendo DS. And again, I have no idea why it took me so long to get this game, because I own most of the other games in this series, and that is Mr. Driller Drills Spirits. So yeah, I believe this one is pretty closely related to the GameCube game that came out about this time. So I really like that one. I'm hoping this one will be pretty good. Then, moving on to Sega systems, this was probably my weakest month for Sega pickups I've had in years. Sega stuff is usually one of the top things I try to get, and this month was just incredibly difficult for some reason. First thing I got, though, was a cart-only, very nice copy of the game Airbuster. This is one of the better shooters on the system, and I still do not own this game complete. I've had a really ratty cart-only copy I've had for years that I've been playing, and I figured box and manual I can get them later, but this one, since it's so rare to find some of these early shooters without video store stickers on them, I might as well go ahead and grab this now, and I can just, put it in a box and manual later if I get one. Very cool shooter. I do own the arcade version of this one, so I tend to play that more, but the Genesis port of this is quite good. I got one other thing for the Genesis this month, and if you heard my rant I did a few months ago on repro games, you know I do not support the repro game industry. However, my friend decided to give me this game, and I figured I'd go ahead and try it. It did look kind of cool, so, whatever. But that is Mega Man The Wily Wars. This is the Mega Drive exclusive with the enhanced ports of the NES games on it. And it has kind of this cool blue cartridge, so I didn't pay any money for this. I would not pay money for repro games, but if someone's going to give me one, I guess I'll try it out. So definitely looking forward to giving that a shot. I got one game that is complete this month for the Genesis, and it wasn't one I was necessarily seeking out, but I got a good price on it, and that is General Chaos. I think some people really like this game. I was just impressed by the amount of stuff that comes with it. It has a really thick manual. There's like a poster, there's a comment card, there's some other thing in there. It's got like a full comic book inside the manual. Just really the type of stuff you don't see today. We can't even get a manual with a game today, and back then they could give you all that. So very cool package, at least, if nothing else. And then the last thing I got for Sega Systems was another accessory. That is, I showed it in my video a couple weeks ago on my Sega Game Gear library. If you haven't had a chance, please check that one out. And this is the Master Gear converter that lets you play original Master System games in the Game Gear. It's a really neat accessory, and I've been trying this out a bit over the last few weeks. So that's pretty much it for the month. Like I said, another light month for me. Hopefully that doesn't turn you off. I do want to say a special shout out to all my new subscribers. For some reason I had a big subscriber boost in the last month, so however you found me, thank you for watching, and please continue to watch and tell others about my videos. Please take a moment, like, comment, subscribe to this video, and have a great day or night wherever you are. I will talk to you soon.